You're listening to the Daily Sales Tips podcast, and I'm your host, Scott Ingram. Today's tip comes from Kaleigh Conners, and since she's self-introducing, I'm just going to let her take it from here.
My name is Kaleigh Conners, and I'm a strategic account executive with Terry Berry, coming to you today with a daily sales tip in place of Jack Wilson because he is in fact sick, but I promise you this will be just as good because it's a tip that I got directly from Jack. A big challenge that I had is speaking too much, and I'm still working very diligently on this challenge. But I would overshare, say too many things, and then ultimately look back at the conversation and be like, wow, what just happened? So if you go and listen to episode 135 in the Sales Success Stories podcast, you'll hear a little bit more about this challenge from me. But for a quick and actionable tip, which is why you're listening to this podcast, here it goes. And quite plainly, we're going to go through the letters PAWS, and that stands for PAWS. Of course, also for an animal, PAWS, if you'd like to print out some little pieces of paw prints and put them around your computer to trigger you to implement this tool. But the P stands for pause and give yourself time to let the question or thought ruminate. Maybe a prospect asked you a question, or maybe your boss, or even your significant other. Give yourself the time to let the question or thought sit in your brain and get comfortable. A stands for awareness. Become aware of your instinctual responses emotionally, logically, and even physically. Do you use your hands or shift in your seat when an uncomfortable topic comes up? Or do you realize that you initially respond to certain questions really heavily emotionally? Next is the W. Be curious and allow your mind to wonder about the different perspectives in an inquisitive way. Is the person you're chatting to speak in a different style? Do you need to tailor where you're coming from and meet them where they are? Pause for a minute and wonder. The S in pause is speak only after you've confidently given your mind the time to catch up with itself. Sometimes taking a 2-second pause feels like 2 years, and I can promise you that the person you're talking with doesn't recognize how long that time period really is. Take a little bit more time before responding directly to a question or just even in any conversation. You could honestly use this tip in your personal and professional life, and it has so much value when you take that little bit of extra time to make sure that your response is crafted carefully and answering the other person's question effectively. Hope that this helps.
For links to connect with Kaleigh, to her Sales Success Stories interview episode, and perhaps even a link to connect with Jack Wilson, just click over to DailySales.Tips/1099, and we'll have everything for you there. Once you've done that, be sure to come back tomorrow for another great sales tip. Thanks for listening.